Welcome back to City Skylines, the Aberdeen build. Massive thank you guys for all your support so far. It genuinely means the world to me and it's super overwhelming. Firstly, a quick apologies for the delayed updates. This is going to change going forward with at least one update per week, and it's probably going to be on a Sunday. A lot of work has gone into modding the game to make it look more realistic, and that's going to start in the very next episode after this one. This week we'll be focusing on Footdee or Fitty. I'm sure someone's going to tell me off for that, and make a start on the beach. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy it. My Twitter details are on screen as always, and please feel free to leave your comments below. Enjoy! So here I started to build the pier for the end of Fitty, I think it's called. I'm sure it's called that. As you can see, I had to use a mod to get the ground to build underneath it, because City Skylines likes to put bridges in everywhere, which meant it would have just created this bridge into the sea, which isn't very accurate for the area. Unfortunately, it wasn't that easy to do, and when you're sort of building it along, it likes to just stick things up in the air at funny angles, so to get it right was actually quite difficult to do. But ultimately, I just used a dirt track into the sea and levelled it out, and in the end it looked pretty good. So here's a tiny little insight into how I actually spend a lot of my time designing the city. As you can see, I often use Google Maps an awful lot and flip between that and Street View. Street View is pretty good for sort of giving me an instant shot of what the place looks like, and then I just kind of do the same thing with the city at the same time and try and visualize what I'm doing. So you will see it a lot in the sped up version, but I thought I'd slow it down and just show you that what I'm doing is actually comparing what I've done to what's in the real world. So this is the beginning of Queen's Links. Now I've tried to use the real world shops to actually do this. Obviously I've downloaded a ton of UK based retail for the game, but there isn't everything there that is actually on the park. So I've just put down the main ones and then tried to pad it out with a little bit more to make it look a little bit more realistic. Once I finish to develop this, we end up moving down towards the seafront and Cadonas and attempt to try and make that look as close to real world as we possibly can. So just at the top of Trinity Quay, as you turn left onto the small stretch of road that takes you up to the roundabout, I suddenly realised that there is actually a footpath that goes over the top of that takes you from the sort of sea front area almost back down towards Union Street and Castlegate, and I suddenly realised I hadn't put that in, so this is what I'm doing here. The reason I've sort of slowed this down to include it is it was genuinely such a pain to get right. It just would not snap into place and the angles were going all funny, so I just thought I'd show you what I was doing here, just to kind of show how long some of these things take sometimes. Now this is obviously the start of Cadona's, and again I'm very limited on what I can put down and do to make the area look realistic. So what I've done is found the key sort of focal points of the skyline, put those down, and then as you'll see I start rearranging everything around it to try and make it look as close to the seafront as possible. So just between Footdee and Cadona's, there's actually a small section of industry here. There's a couple of businesses and places of work and companies there, and there's a little section of roads and back sort of entrances onto a small industrial estate. So all I'm doing here is just finishing that bit off to bridge the gap between the two locations that we've done here. And that just about does it for another episode of City Skylines, the Aberdeen build. I just thought I'd treat you guys to the outro, which I actually filmed using the new realism settings for Aberdeen. As you can see in the images that are on screen right now, I've changed things up a little bit and added this sort of lighting effect, a couple of texture mods to the game as well as some UK road signs and roads, which all in all has just made it look so much more realistic and taken away that cartoon style from the game. If you guys have got any comments and suggestions, as always, please do feel free to leave them in the comment box down below. I do read through every single one. I'll try to reply to as many as I can. And if you've got a good idea or suggestion, please let me know and I will feature it in the video and give you all the credit. I like to think this is a big community project and a way to show off the city that we're all proud of. Anyway, guys, I promise I won't leave it so long next time. Thanks very much for sticking around, and I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers!